Here's the most predictable thing in the world right now. The Witcher is toast after Henry Cavill leaves. And that really is going to screw stuff up even more for Netflix at a time when they need engaging original content. They've got to keep audiences around. And they have to do that with something that appeals to a lot of people and has its own fandom. Lots of channels are likely talking about this and have talked about it over the last few weeks, ever since the news broke, and for good reason. But I want to take a closer look at some compelling numbers and some thoughts by some qualified people and some unqualified people as well. Again, some of these numbers come from a dubious source, but I think we can reflect on the fan feedback that goes along with it that's going to outline a pure and perfect disaster. So, hang on to your hats and glasses. Here we go. Season 3 of The Witcher is set to release this summer. Yeah, sometime around May. Could be sooner. They could get it out by March of 2023, but most likely I would say June. And it will likely be the last successful season of this incredibly popular Netflix original show. And that's not surprising. What would be surprising is if Netflix actually elects to continue to move forward with the show at all after season 3. Because after Henry Cavill announced his departure, because the show had obviously deviated too far outside of the original source material, the fandom got fired up. Yeah, we get motivated when stuff bothers us like that. So on Netflix, trailers were hit with commentary about this decision. Massive downvoting on multiple projects obviously ensued. Anything that was Witcher related got bombarded, and polls appeared everywhere. All with, overwhelming results, to say the least. Now, no one wants a Witcher without Henry Cavill. Well, almost no one. After all, he's pretty much everybody's favorite person for Geralt. Or Geralt. Or however you want to pronounce it. It's on you. To me, it's Geralt. Anyway, and no one actually is going to blame Cavill for this, honestly. He had to contend with outright contempt for the source material while he was doing his very best to get into and play that character. And that's even after being sidelined in his own show. Because, again, the title of the show is The Witcher. There was never any doubt that he would be saddled with a faithless adaptation just because of the person he was working with. Lauren Hissrich is turning out to be exactly the thing that she claimed she wasn't at the very beginning, going back to a couple of different interviews in 2020. She's a female fantasy writer, at best, and not a very good one. And as the show went on, we got further and further away from the original stories and the stories that actually, brought everybody into this tent in the first place. So we're going to return to some numbers. We're going to look at some polls, and we're going to look at some reactions, because that's kind of the only way to measure this at this point until we get some actual, hard viewing numbers, which, believe me, I think everybody's going to be here for. So we're going to start with this Culture Crave poll. And as we see here in this graphic, over 80% of the people, fans anyway, that bothered to see this or engage with this poll, will not be turning in to see Liam Hemsworth play Geralt for Season 4. As unscientific as this may be, polls like this, with over 200,000 people responding, that's a huge sample size. And it makes political polling seem quite laughable when they're only getting a few thousand, maybe 10 to 20 at best. And of course, The Wrap, one of the publications that continually dives in on culturally significant issues like this when it comes to pop culture and areas they really don't understand or know about, They in turn went to, their in-house or their new in-house skewed data partner, Parrot Analytics. They're looking for answers, and they want them kind of database so they look credible. Let's just put it that way. They probably didn't like what they saw very much because the Wrap as a publication is in the bag for The Message, and they pump out that message harder than, most mainstream outlets do. So, and despite the normal progress for interest in most Netflix shows, the fans kept showing up for Cavill. Specifically for Cavill. They also kept calling out the substantial variance that the show was engaged in versus the source material. Parrot speculates, or somebody at the Wrap speculates, that with Cavill leaving season 3 itself might be a huge success with huge viewership because it will be his last performances as Geralt in the show. They probably are right to a certain extent. I, for one, won't be watching this, however, because as of season 1, I was pretty much out. Let's move on, because the bad data farmer, Parrot, went exploring the actor's specific popularity. Well, actually, both actors' specific popularity. After all, Hollywood is just one giant popularity contest to a lot of very shallow folks, and you can see why. It's also why I think social media is kind of poison, but hey, another video for that one. Suffice it to say that there is zero comparison to be made between Henry Cavill and Liam Hemsworth. Liam doesn't hold a candle with the people's choice for the Man of Steel. In fact, based on what you can see here, and what I'm sure is just stellar analysis from the Wrap and/or Parrot, a lot of negative sentiment has been directed by fans towards Liam these days after this announcement was made. But look at how staggeringly different these numbers are. Substantial. Now, what I'm really enjoying about this isn't that we're going to lose another property to the woke crowd. It's that I'm enjoying what's around this. It's the huge cope by all of these outside, supposed digital outlets that people pay far too much attention to. At least when it comes to stories like this, and regarding obviously Henry's exit and his popularity and everything else. See, the shill outlets are careful not to mention that Cavill was committed to the show for the whole 7-season run. He really was. Of course, it had to remain faithful to the source material. And that's the thing that they don't want to pay attention to. They don't want to draw attention to that. It would be very, very bad indeed. So, in my estimation, and again, your mileage may vary, they were completely done utilizing the bulk of the source material by season 2. I guess that was supposedly the biggest departure. Well, no kidding. They invented characters, storylines, crap that never happened in anywhere at all. They just chucked the books out the window, got rid of the idea of the games, and that was probably key in why I didn't even bother getting all the way through season 2. I'm not even sure I got through 3 episodes of it. Can't remember. Obviously didn't care. Reportedly, the infamous liar and showrunner, Lauren Hissrich, said in an interview that season 2 would be the greatest departure from the source material. Well, based on reports, no kidding. With Cavill actually electing to depart after season 3, I'm sure that was an outright lie as well. Hopefully, I'm wrong, but I doubt it. I'll only know after somebody else tells me, because I'm not going to watch the show regardless. And from inside the writer's room, of course, we've already heard the rumblings, but there were actually reports that some of the writers that actually held the books and the games in such disdain and contempt that they actually made fun of the material overall and intentionally wrote Geralt in a negative fashion and wrote the story to basically reduce his role. Incidentally, you might have heard there's a petition campaigning to keep Cavill and ditch Hissrich and all the other writers, and it's approaching 300K. pretty impressive, to be honest with you. What do you think? Do you actually think that after Season 3 the show will wither and die? It's a good question. Do you think that Liam will be able to rally support for Season 4? I'm not sure how. He doesn't have the same look as Cavill, and as built as he is, I don't think he's as chiseled. He certainly isn't the embodiment of the character, and I doubt he has a whole lot of background in it. Of course, I guess the last question would be, is the vast deviance from the source material more to blame than anything else for the lack of interest in this show? Because I imagine after Season 3, absent Henry, I don't think anybody's going to care. Anyway, like I said, please utilize the comment section down below. Hopefully we can engage in a conversation around this. I don't think I gave you a whole lot of new information outside of the numbers and a little bit of analysis on those. I truly feel like this Season 3 may sputter. And again, it's not going to be Henry's fault. With that, I'm going to encourage you to support other independent creators here that may have already touched on this story or will continue to do so. I think Bounding Into Comics has been doing some great work over there journalistically, and when they drop videos, they're very informative indeed. So I think Spencer did an article on this fairly recently, or something similar about The Witcher. I remember reading something he wrote about The Witcher. Maybe I digested some of that information as well. And obviously, be sure to like, share, subscribe, do all the things, not just for me, but for anybody else that you enjoy. It's really important to drive the conversation forward and to build channels that, well, don't necessarily fall along the lines of the mainstream, and certainly try to report more information than you're going to get from a lot of these outlets. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, wash your hands, of course, because it's good hygiene. And until next time, bye. Five stories a day, good gravy. And don't forget to check out my Rumble at rumble.com/CultureCasino. Thanks for visiting today. Be sure you're subscribed and hit that for alerts.
Yay!
Of course, like and share all of the videos that you can, as it helps with the algorithm. Have a great day.